Hello, welcome to our second session on the science of learning, which is going to build on the work that Andrew introduced in his video last week. So last week with Andrew, we talked about the desired end goal. What we want at the end is fully automated schema existing in students' heads. We want to automate knowledge and skills because this allows us to make long-term changes in the long-term memory of our students. And we want this because, yes, it helps all the educationally disadvantaged on our pupil premium, etc. But ultimately, it prepares all students for the next step in their educational journey. It prepares all students for those exams that ultimately they are going to have to sit. If we are looking at retrieval and the use of do now activities from the point of view of making changes in the long-term memory, we know that every time we retrieve learning, we take a step closer to it becoming automated. And if we think about myelination in the brain, the neural pathways get laid down, and then every time we go back over those neural pathways, the myelin proteins are laid down, and the connections in the human brain become stronger. And ultimately, that building of schema is what creates automated knowledge. Automating knowledge is what is going to ultimately help us and our students to defeat the old enemy, i.e. Ebbinghouse's forgetting curve. So we need to focus lots and lots on consolidation and automation. Now, in the bad old days, and I reckon I was as guilty of this as anybody, I was bullied into doing the whole differentiation of learning objectives. All students will do, most will do, some will do. And honestly, I look back at that now and I cringe. And you know, it was that quote from Dr. Michael Riley about why is it okay for some people to build a cathedral while others build a shed. And that's what we have to avoid. We have to be building a curriculum, and we have to be using retrieval practice within that curriculum to make sure that everybody gets to build a cathedral. And the reason for that is if we just rely on, well, some can do something, it means that we just see progress as moving from one thing to another. And it often becomes about pace rather than automation. It becomes about moving through the learning journey quickly rather than making sure that things are bedded in. So by the time we get to stage 4 here, the stage 4 of the learning curve, students have forgotten a lot of what we've said if we've not gone back over it. And this, of course, is where our do now tasks and our retrieval tasks that we are doing are going to help short circuit Ebbinghouse's forgetting curve, and hopefully avoid us having to reteach loads of stuff as we go towards the exams, because the retrieval practice is going to help to bed that in. Referring back to last time, Andrew talked about the 3 stages that we need to focus on: the encoding, the initial teaching, and the presenting of new information. And what we now know is that just teaching it and then moving on to the next thing and just teaching it and then moving on to the next thing is not going to build the schema. We need to spend just as much time on the consolidation and the automation stages of the learning process as we do on teaching the material in the first place. In order to consolidate, then, we need to repeat and practice material from the current topics that we are teaching. So we've taught something in the encoding phase, and then we revisit it in order to help make sense of the next piece of the work. That's the consolidation phase. Obviously, the automation phase is retrieval of material from and practice of skills from previous topics. So that is going to make us have to think about our curriculum design and where we go back and revisit the material that we have taught previously. When it comes to retrieval practice, then we can make sure that we consolidate and automate by making sure we've got a mixed economy in the classroom. So a good topic or series of lessons should have all of the above elements. We should have an opportunity for students to activate their prior knowledge. We should consolidate the current topics so that the learning that we are currently working on makes sense, and we should be automating previous topics so that we are building the student schema and allowing them an opportunity to fit the new material into that. In order to do that effectively, we need to be very clear about what it is we are retrieving. And the diagram here outlines the different things that we want to consider when we are building our retrieval practice. Are we retrieving facts, terminology, concepts, dates, statistics? Are we consolidating students' understanding of why things happen, why things are important? Are we consolidating their connections? Are we looking at a bigger picture of how one part of the course might link to another part of the course? And are we also giving them opportunities to apply this understanding and build their own meaning, or perhaps use it in a way that is built around the requirements of the exam? What you can see here is that this building of foundational knowledge is going to be quite sequential. Students have a good understanding of key terminology and a good understanding of key facts, then their general understanding of the topic and their ability to do something with it will hopefully become more developed. That foundational knowledge really is the building blocks for success. We probably want to avoid in our retrieval practice too much over reliance on applying. Applying is going to always be sort of the end point. We need a solid foundation first. We are the experts. We find it really easy, but without those solid foundations, students might not always get there. You know, that whole curse of the expert thing. What we see is easy, they might not. Having said that, we don't want to discount the importance of using application and applying what students have learned as part of our retrieval practice. It was probably a quote by Wolfgang von Goethe, but I first heard it from Bruce Lee. And it's the old knowing is not enough, we must apply. Willing is not enough, we must do. So we can use the foundational knowledge that we've built through our retrieval practice, and we can apply it in our retrieval practice, but it probably wants to be an end point. If we take the example of playing a game of football, we don't necessarily get better always by just playing a game of football. We do it by working on the individual elements. We work on our stamina, our speed, we work on our different skills that we might need, we work on our tactics, and then we put it all together in a football match. That our retrieval practice is going to benefit from good learning habits. We want students to attempt every question that we give them. We want it to be a low stakes environment. We want them to have a go at everything and praise the idea that it's the thinking and the effort that counts. We want to try and avoid this thing of, I don't know. Well, okay, what do you know? Can we tease that out? I often feel that one of the best things about retrieval practice are the conversations we have when we unpick it and we debrief it afterwards. And this is going to help build a learning environment where it isn't just a tick box exercise of something that we do, but it's something that we feel is fundamental to the building of our curriculum. Thanks for listening. I tried to keep this under 10 minutes and I have succeeded by about 5 seconds. Thank you.